Yes, good evening and welcome back to Scale Smart Live. I am your host, Taja M. Graham. I am CEO and founder of Ops IQ. I'm delighted to be able to work along some magnificent founders that are growth minded. They are taking to task how they resolve all of the bottlenecks and issues within their businesses in order to grow the way that they want. And it starts first with just simply asking the right questions. And that comes in the form of our assessment. So I am just so grateful to be working alongside those growth minded founders that are looking for the right path for sustainable growth. And tonight, I'm very fortunate to have one of those founders that is taking to task how she will grow her business as she moves forward. So I am excited to have tonight Jessie Lezek, who is with Revington Marketing. Welcome, Jessie, to the show.
Thank you so much, Taja. It's an honor to be here.
Well, please share with us. You are the visionary founder of Revington. Share with us, as that founder, as that leader, what that means and what your business is all about.
Oh, thanks for asking. Yeah, Reviting is a few years old now. And, just 3 years ago, I was working full time as a chief marketing officer. B2B SaaS was always my background. And I felt like marketing was changing. People weren't connecting with ads, they weren't trusting marketing, and marketing was getting harder and harder. So at the time, I was working at BDEX. They're still a client today. But I convinced them that we needed to start a podcast. And to me, it's all about, then it was getting what was in the founder's head, what was in the executives' minds about what they did at BDEX, what the founder story was, and getting it out to the world in an authentic and organic way. So, there's a lot of parts to that. There's the technical side, but the more difficult side, which to me is, more rewarding, is really helping founders step into their power, step into their potential, and share their story live and authentically across social channels. Because live streaming is not going anywhere. We're seeing it directly bringing in and changing e-com and changing, just the economy in general, in terms of TikTok and what they're able to do in terms of moving products through live streaming on TikTok. And B2B is the same thing. We are recording podcasts in secret. So many businesses are. So when you're having these long form, authentic conversations, you should be having them on the platform that makes most sense, LinkedIn, YouTube, for B2B industries, and then repurposing it. Because in 2026, especially, we'll see distribution being a really important part of marketing, but also being a real human, because people connect with people, not brands. They don't want to be advertised to. They want to be talked with. So if you are here in the comments, would love to know, hey, add a Gadkar. I am watching from Ireland. What's up? Who else is here? Let us know if you're here in the comments.
I love it. I love it. You know what I appreciate, and we're going to pull back the curtain a little bit. Obviously, this is a product of Revington. So you are watching Scale Smart Live thanks to the efforts of Jessie and her team for pushing this for me. And she is absolutely right. This is the way that I'm able to express not only myself or those advisors, thought leaders that I get to work with, but also those founders that are experiencing very similar pain points in management of their team dynamics, their business operations, to be able to give this platform and a space to be able to talk about it candidly and openly, right? So, let's go back. Like you were saying, it was only a few years ago that, Jessie, you stepped into this, but quickly you have grown to the point of how many team members do you have working alongside of you?
We've got product and marketing lead, product assistant, 2 video editors, someone helping in sales, and I'm sure I'm forgetting. We've got an international team, global contractors. We've got 5 that are doing full time, and then a couple like part time who just help me with some side projects. So yeah, we're a growing team, and it's been a challenge, because once you figure out your offer and it's scalable, it just becomes working with people and growing that team. So Yeah, was super excited to start working with Ops IQ just because, well, we were already working together anyway, but um, I've had some pain points just in terms of like that people thing. We got to work with people and taking ownership of what can I do as a founder to make sure that we succeed in laying the groundwork for people so that they are set up for success.
Mhm.
If we create confusion or we don't lay that groundwork, it's only going to lead to bad places, and we can't, blame people for that and blame people for mistakes, or blame people for not being inspired if we're not creating guardrails for them to like find their way. So I think Psych
Absolutely.
definitely helped me with that.
Absolutely. Well, look, we're going to talk throughout the night about what that looks like for you. We've got three different subjects tonight that we want to talk through a little bit. And the first one is recognizing the pain of scaling the operations. We talked about it as far as the growth of the team very fast, how quickly that had to be addressed. But step us through a little bit of some of the other pain points that you've experienced. You talked about communication. Are there other pain points that you have seen, Jessie, as you
Mm.
continue to look forward even in your scaling?
Mm, yes. I mean, a company lives and dies by cash. So you want to scale, but you want to do it smart. It's the name of the show. Because a business at the end of the day is a financial institution. And so we got to keep that first and foremost. And, we want to make sure we're paying ourselves as the founder. Um, but then also to hire people, it starts to get expensive. There's tools. So I would say for me, who, came from marketing, I did have some like fundraising and finance experience early in my career. But and I was a seller, grew to like director of sales at one company at one point. So that's all been helpful. But yeah, for me, that's been the challenge because when you're the founder, you wear all the hats. I am the CFO, I am the CMO, I am all of those things. So yeah, for me, it's like the nitty gritty of like getting into the numbers, making sure we're balancing everything, making sure I'm scaling smart, but also wise and in a way that's scalable.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very valid point. Is that you have to be mindful of cash being the king, right? So, how much can you actually put to that bottom line, and have on reserve to help you to continue to grow and expand the business? That balancing act, that's where the sustainability really comes in, right? You can have tremendous growth in revenues, but if you're not managing what is that cash reserves, it will matter nothing in what is a longer play, right? So, very smart for you to acknowledge that. And as you're growing ahead, and wearing that hat, you've got some salespeople out there that are bringing in revenues to you. And it starts to feel heavier as you go, right? If you're generating, 100,000, 200,000, then you hit that point of $1 million, and beyond. For you, Jessie, what are the things that you feel weigh the heaviest when you are seeing those multiples play out in your revenue?
Such a good question. I think, it's you would think it'd be like the actual financials or the actual technical stuff behind it or the working with the people, but I think it's really just like getting clarity in my own head around things, but also like opening up my mind to being okay with that type of growth and not being scared of that type of growth and welcoming that type of growth. And I think, getting to that place where I say, don't feel scared to bring on more clients or don't feel that fear to scale comes with having the systems in place, comes with having things in writing. And it comes down to, I mean, really what I um, started to learn with you and Ops IQ, Taja, is like thinking of it as in really just scaling the team because early in the scaling process it was all about selling and finding more clients, but now it's like putting that focus inward, working on the business, not in the business, in terms of like building that system so
Mhm.
as we have more sellers then it just all starts to fall into place.
Yeah, yeah. I thought we might have seen a question that popped up, so I want to make sure we capture that again. How does lack of internal structure start affecting external trust and brand perception? Ooh, that's a good question. That was loaded. Oh my.
There we got a loaded question there. Yeah,
But it's true, right? Like
absolutely.
if you're
Mhm.
not able to produce the thing that your clients are paying for, it does hurt your brand reputation and the trust within that your clientele. So talk about what does that look like for you, or what are the things that you're putting in place, Jessie, to ensure that you don't come across that experience.
Absolutely. It's so important. It comes down to really setting those guardrails for the team, I think, and making sure that the team is in place to do their job. At the end of the day, like trust is a full circle thing. So the trust starting internally is going to reveal itself externally as we start to show that, hey, we've got a well-oiled wheel here that's spinning pretty well, and we can bring our clients into this spin with us.
Yeah.
But if we're not spinning, then we start bringing other people in, everything's broken. So I think the internal trust comes from results.
Mhm.
And that's, my expectation now in terms of like hiring a team and bringing people on. Part of creating those documents is setting standards for KPIs, because we're not here for personal reasons as much as like I support the team and I'm grateful for the team and we're all humans and I'm empathetic to what we all deal with personally. I'm a mother and running a business. I have two small kids. Of course, I get it. Things come up. At the end of the day, I can be completely flexible as long as KPIs are being communicated and met. And so, not everyone's going to be made to fit every role. So to me, it's internal trust in terms of like, let's build our internal trust, make sure we can all, execute on what we're here to do. And when we can do that here internally, that's going to reveal itself to our clients and it's going to help them. Um, so, yeah, I guess I take it on as a leader to make sure that the team is set up for success and getting the SOPs, standard operating procedures, KPIs in place, I think is all going to be helpful, because I didn't have that in place and did some hiring and it didn't always work. And it'd be like, why didn't that work? Well, we have nothing to go back on to say, hey, where did we want to be by now?
Yeah.
So by putting that structure into place, we can move off to the races. And then it just gets easier to deal with some of the personality stuff too, because you can just come back to the facts.
That's it.
This
Yeah.
isn't about a personal thing. This is not about, whatever, because yeah, people, you're going to come across a lot of people and we just have to be logical about it. It's not personal. It's about the business.
Yeah, what I love of what you just said, Jesse, is there's one thing to have the external trust amongst your clientele, but it's far more important to have the internal trust. And that starts in setting expectation. Here's what good looks like. I've said this a couple of times on the show, right? When you can express to your team, this is what good looks like. Now tell me what great is going to look like. So the KPI is expressed to this is good. This is what has to happen. But when you want to be seen as truly that impact player on this team, take it to great and allow for them to play a part in that, right? But being very transparent on what those expectations are critical, because that's what the team is looking for. If the goalpost is here and I can get there, I'm good. I'm comfortable and secure in my job. I know that I have an opportunity for growth and advancement here because I'm able to at least get to good. And I think that is important. And then it parlays into how you deliver to your clientele in your service, for sure. Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And being able, even as you think ahead, because I'm certain you're going to continue to hire, right? Is how do you play that into the ability to recruit, right? And
Mhm.
the ability to pull in even more stronger talent as you go. It's by being able to clearly define, hey, these are these expectations that we have. If you're not good with that, it's okay to walk away, right? Like I was just having a conversation earlier with the IQ team, of, hey, there are 5 C's that I look for us to commit to our subscribers and members, right? And being very clear as to where I see those playing out and how they should be delivered so that we're all on the same page of, yes, we have made the commitment to this subscriber and we're delivering on those things. It's important to be able to express that for sure.
100%.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. As you look ahead and you're building out that team and you're building what are those repeatable consistencies of activity actions across the company, where do you then start to prioritize those pain points? How does that look for you? You're overcoming certain challenges, but how are you prioritizing those pain points?
Great question. I mean, right now it's not always logical. It kind of can be like putting out fires that pop up sometimes. Because as you know, we've got each client in a WhatsApp group, and then anyone on Reviting's team who works with that client is in that WhatsApp group. So every once in a while, we might get a WhatsApp chat that's like, why did you post this? We didn't want this post out there. Or, and that's actually only happened one time, and it was a holiday post. Not every business wants holiday posts. That's just the way it is. We assume as social media marketers that everyone wants a holiday post, but communication is key, and that's why we have those WhatsApp chats. So in that regard, we then build a process for that client to make sure that we're not planning holiday posts for that client. But yeah, just in general, when we don't have to be so reactionary, I think going back to the KPIs and the total goals is extremely important. So, I have some high expectations for Reviting. Like, I really want to grow this fast. Got some big numbers in mind. I want to exit. So, ideally like 3 to 4 years, maybe 7, we'll see, 7-figure exit. And so that's where I'm trying to go. That's the goal. And so in order to do that, we need to sell, X number of the starter plans, Y number of I got to start getting some larger CMO packages sold. Along with that, I've got to bring on new team hires. So for me, it's like starting off big and seeing is sales still scaling? Are we going up? How are we selling larger packages? Because these small deals aren't going to get us to where I want to go. But it is great. We love getting a lot of the small starter packages. We just want to get more growth packages and executive level packages going. So I look at sales numbers. Again, to me, a business is a financial institution, period, point blank. Got to have the numbers. So if we're not meeting numbers, none of this other stuff matters. So that's, for me, number one is following the financials and staying on top of sales to make sure that we're continually trying to get to that exit goal. So that's number one for me, is starting there, but then also looking at the KPIs in terms of, we have one KPI, which is how many events have been posted for our clients within 2 weeks? How many events have been posted with, outside of that? Because for us, a client will be less likely to churn if we get their event posted far into advance and promoted. If you have an event with 700 people coming in December, you're probably going to keep working with Reviting because you want to have that event in December. And so, my goal is to make sure that we're getting events posted well into advance with high caliber people. We're not having a high number of cancellations every day. I have the team report on how many cancellations there were. Because when we get a cancellation, especially last minute, the whole team has to stop what they're doing and find a guest for this show. So we want to make sure we're not doing that. So to me, success looks like getting to that place where we're going up and to the right, to reach those financial numbers for an exit, but also creating an appealing, and inspiring and educational environment for people to come in and learn about business. I would like to be the ideal environment to work, just because our system is just so flawless. And when people get here, they feel good because, we're helping people get past their imposter syndrome and go out there and speak to their audience, and they're moderating comments and it's fun and it's on social media and we're actually helping them get business. That's what I want to see. That's the culture I want to create. So I think getting the structure and the service and the what am I trying to say? The process in place is going to help us get to those goals.
And to your point, I mean, your business is not just the human capital that you have, which is very critical to the success of what you deliver, but you've got a lot of systems that you have in place, be it WhatsApp or be it, even internally with the videography because I've seen all the great work that you guys do. It takes a lot of different efforts at the same time working together to pull it all off masterfully, which I commend you and the team in doing consistently as you go. Here's my question for you, and this is a tricky question before we move on to the next topic. If you walked away for 30 days from the business, where do you think the business could, I wouldn't say would, but could break first?
Great question. I think I sense, and maybe I could be wrong, that I sense the team would take it over and they would be okay. I sense there would be, if anything, maybe a morale dip a little bit, just like because they'd be like, well, what do I do? Jessie normally does this. Now I have to figure it out. Holy crap, this is not my job. Why am I doing this? So there might be a little bit of that, but I think they could figure it out. And I think they would figure it out. And I think I have a system in place where, I've hired virtual assistants through a company called Cherry Assistant. And so I can always reach out to Cherry Assistant for support as, kind of like a middle ground between that. I needed to step away for 30 days. I could be like, hey, DJ, founder of Cherry Assistant, I'm going to be stepping away for 30 days. Could you help make sure that if there's any fires that, someone reaches out and lets me know or something?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that you've got the plan though, right? Like you're thinking through. And that is what oftentimes founders don't think about is if I had to step away, what is that one thing that could happen or break that could hurt the business in my absence? So always having that time, not that, we want to be paranoia by it by no means, but just always thinking through, okay, if this happens, what could I anticipate happening here? Then putting in place, like you said, I got a plan. I would go and call them and I'd get more support. That is critical. And I love that you already are thinking that way for sure. Let's step into our second topic tonight, asking for help, scaling as a founder. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Oh man, it's hard to ask for help. When you become a founder, it's like a whole identity crisis. You're like,
I'm supposed to be the strong one. I gotta be the one to do it. Yeah.
Like, who am I? What kind of leader am I really? Like, sheesh. I'm gonna put myself out there. Like, yeah. Now that I've just put myself into that mindset, can we put the topic back up?
I love it. So asking for help scaling as a founder, what does that mean for you?
Yeah. I think especially in the last year, I've been able to let my own guard down a little bit more to ask for more help and also to see how great help can be. Because at the end of the day, if we are going to scale, we have to delegate. We have to hand everything off to everyone else. And it can't be us doing it. So, I think that asking for help for me started internally with the team, with operations, handing more things over to people so that I can focus more on sales, more on content creation for myself. I think it comes down to delegating, but then that's working in the business. So asking for help in the business is one thing, and then asking for help on the business is another. So got some I guess you could say consultative help last year. Um,
Good.
and then as well as just like working with coaches. I've worked with a sales coach. Now I have a corporate coach, working with Ops IQ and opening up my mind to ways that can help me that I don't even think of sometimes, because you don't know what you don't know. And there are people out there who've helped other people scale, who can help you scale. So just being open-minded to it, but also being discerning, because everybody wants to share their way of doing it with you. And just, having that discernment of like, you don't want to follow someone who you don't think could or has done what you're looking to do. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to say, especially as a woman, everyone wants to tell me what to do, or, I don't know, like maybe everybody feels that way, but like, I'm sure everybody feels that way. Every founder probably feels like everyone's throwing everything their way and everybody wants you to do it your way, but you're the one with the vision and you got to follow what's inside of you because you're the ultimately like the decision maker. But it's good to collect data and process all that data. And when I say collect data, I mean, have conversations with this person. How would they do it? Go research the internet over here. How did they do it? Go ask ChatGPT. How would ChatGPT handle this situation? Process all of that as data. None of it's personal, and make your next move. So for me, asking for help is sort of like data collection. I'm kind of a nerd, like I have my master's in sociology. I worked in data, like at a data company. I'm a data marketer. So to me, it's just like trying to look at things objectively, trying to always have like a clear question in mind or hypothesis. Like, I think I need help making this decision. Okay. So I need help making this decision. So what am I going to do? I'm going to talk to so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. I'm going to go search these things on TikTok and Google. I'm going to go on AI and ask these things. And then I'm going to process all that information. You know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to take the Ops IQ assessment. And then I'm going to like go on the Ops IQ AI, pull out all the templates I can get, process all of that, and then do what feels right to me that I think is going to get me to that goal of that 4 to 7 year exit.
Yeah, yeah. There's one thing for sure with any founder, anyone who's an entrepreneur, you got to trust your gut. That is absolutely spot on. But I love the fact that you are leaning in on all type, internal, external resources to give you somewhat of a validation, a confirmation of sorts, as well as giving you some insightful input based on their experience, especially if they have had that success. Because I agree with you. If they haven't been able to prove it themselves, then why would you go to them? But I love that you have a very diverse setting of resources that you lean in on. But let me ask you again, I ask the tricky questions here. So what's that one thing for you, Jessie? You just are holding on to it because you believe can't nobody do it like Jessie can.
I need to hire a doppelganger of myself who can go live for me on Wednesdays, because this whole thing started with me going live every Wednesday. It used to be called Whiskey Wednesday. I was a full-time CMO. I would show up live on LinkedIn drinking whiskey and complaining about sales, essentially. And it was super controversial. I'd be like, cold calling's dead. You don't need your sales team anymore. Everyone buys because of what's on Google and on ChatGPT. They don't want to talk to a human. It's all online. So I would go online and I'd say things like that, drinking whiskey. And that's how it's all began. And I think, like I can't stop having my show Wednesday, but every Wednesday, no matter where I am, whether I'm on vacation, whether I'm on another side of the world, whether I'm going live 8 p.m. Eastern on, now it's evolved to just Wednesday. We don't have whiskey due to like some sponsor things earlier on. We might switch it back someday. Who knows? But like, it's a flagship show of Revetings. And I think that it would be good, if not a doppelganger of me, to have some sort of partner who could step in and go live for me.
I love it. I love, again, you're coming up with solutions on the spot while we're here in the show. So, I mean, but that, again, as a founder, asking yourself that question repeatedly, What's that one thing I'm holding on to that I think no one else in the organization can do? Challenging yourself to think outside the box, just like you did. How do I get a partner? By the way, I like whiskey. I might take you up on that offer. I might audition for that role. But that's a fair way of looking at it, right? So I love that you are looking at it in that vein. So let's talk a little bit further. As you're building the company, how are you looking at what are those responsibilities that you need next in the business? And then how are you going to solicit for those talents?
Good question. It usually comes down to a pain. At this point, it's still very reactionary in terms of our hiring. Like, oh man, we've got a lot of people asking for more video. We better go hire another videographer. Or oh boy, we've got 10 shows, 10 calendars we're managing right now. We better go get an assistant to help us with all these bookings. Because there's errors happening and people don't like their guests, so we need higher quality guests. So maybe we should get a PR support person to help us, filter through all these people who want to come on our client shows, because everybody says they're qualified to go on a podcast, but we get to choose the best of the best if we take time to filter through it. So it's very reactionary at this point based on customer feedback, based on churn. In December, real talk, we had some clients churn and I got real feedback and it was so eye-opening. And, I did a whole dissection of our operations and found different holes and things they weren't saying. But now I was like, oh, now I put together why you said this, because this was, I got it now, and so like, they don't always tell you exactly but they'll give you hints. But taking it all as data logically, nothing's personal. But yeah, just sort of learning and growing from there.
Let me ask you this. This is a good topic. So as you are hearing back and getting that feedback, how do you convey that to the team overall?
Good question. I think that was a good lesson, because yeah, it's a scary place because like things can get tight and the team is an expense. So, I do try to make sure I'm being realistic with them because we are a small startup. So, if we lose too much business, someone might lose their job and I don't want that to happen. So I am very transparent about the churn. I'm transparent about, where the company is. I would say I'm trying to get better about how I handle it. We just had a calendar error. Usually it comes down to a calendar error. It's always a calendar error because we do all these events, right? Someone emailed a date wrong, a time wrong. Someone got confused. Someone didn't show up. We got to be on top of those details. Clients are getting upset about it. Luckily, I sort of have that system in place where I can reach out to DJ at Cherry Assistant and be like, how should I handle this? This client is upset. Is it at a place where this person, we're events company. If you can't get dates right, maybe you're just not the right fit for this, I don't know. Like, and having those real conversations internally with my advisor, and getting clear on it. But also I would say, are you actually live? Colin is asking. I'm seeing his comment on. Yes, we are live. Ask us your questions, Colin.
Yes, please.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm going a little bit into a rabbit hole, but I will say I think it's important to be transparent with the team. I think it's important even to some extent. I don't know. You have to be careful about it because you also don't want to create an environment of fear.
Yeah.
And so it's a fine line and you don't want people to feel attacked. And here's what I've learned too is, especially in different cultures around the world, there's different things you have to consider with like people are already afraid to tell you things that normally someone in an American culture would tell you.
Yeah.
So I got to really make sure people are comfortable. But then how do I do that when we're getting churn and I'm trying to be transparent? So it is sort of a fine line to balance. And I think honestly, it just comes back down to standard operating procedures, KPIs, and having your ops IQ in line, so that you can take the personal out of it and keep it logical and back to what's good for the business. Because at the end of the day, we are here for the business. We're not, here for other reasons.
Well, and you have a strong team, and what I know about them, they are excellent professionals. They want to build impact. They want to make a difference in the business, clearly, right? And when you hire that type of team, those type of talents into your business, they hold themselves at probably a higher standard than you would even imagine they do. And so being willing to be transparent with them of why the churn, what is happening. I think when you express it early on, right? And if there's things that they can control, they will step up to the occasion, right? It always starts with the hire, right? And so as you hire the best talent that has the acumen and desire, they can be skilled.
Yes.
If they don't have the desire
and
they
attitude.
don't want to make the impact, then you still hired the wrong person.
Yes.
Point blank. But when you hire people that really want to come alongside of you, that's what team is about. We're coming together to do this thing together. That's the best of all worlds. And so they will take the information and process it in a way, not that it hurts them or they feel, that they are being reprimanded or such, but that they say, okay, help me to grow, help me to expand, because I still want to make the impact for the team. So the moment we bottle it in and we don't share it, and then it becomes a big issue internally, you are having to let go of people. That it's almost like they were blindsided and they don't understand why. So, but there is that balance. I absolutely agree as to how you convey it, when you convey it, but conveying it is critical. Absolutely. And the KPIs are going to help you. It's going to help you address those actual processes, but it'll also help you as you're developing your talent, right? Giving them individual KPIs so that when you go to do performance reviews, when you go, that set expectation for their performance is already in alignment to what the expectation of the organization's processes are. It all flows together when you think about it. Look, I know we're getting close to time, and I don't want to miss what is this last topic or any comments that come through. But the last topic of the evening, Jessie, this has been rich. I'm going to have you back for sure, because we could keep going tonight. But peace comes with procedures. Wow, I love that. Talk about what you are experiencing that would say that peace, or that you feel to see that happening. How do you see that?
Oh man. As you just mentioned that topic, I just started thinking, why haven't I fed all my SOPs to AI? I need to start building my own internal AI. Little by little, peace with procedures to me is going into Ops IQ, honestly, and exporting some templates to get inspired. Because I go in there and I'm like, oh, yeah, a 30, 60, 90-day ramp up for a new hire is a really great idea. Let me fill in this template. And, creating more of those, I think, is important, like literally every single step. Because right now I can be very hands-on with the hiring process, with the training process, but hopefully with the next couple hires, I can be hands-off. Yeah. And the team can take these documents and train the next person with these documents because they are repeatable processes. And then I can just get in and sort of help with the subjective type of design type of stuff and messaging. If even that, because, I want to be able to step out. We're going to have other people handle that too. But yeah, peace with procedures is being able to delegate. So having peace to go have a life as a founder. Because most founders were working around the clock, might not want to share it. Like the company's only open 9 to 5, but guess what? We're working after hours. And, I'm a mom of 2 small kids, and I have a partner that travels. So I'm doing it all alone here.
Wow.
And so for me, piece is someone on the team being able to reference a document before having to call and interrupt me while I'm handling a sick kid or something, which is fine. I want them to call. I don't want someone on the team to hear that and be like, I don't want to call her. So I want to be approachable. And we have WhatsApp for that reason, and I'll get back to them. But you know what I mean? Like, you want to be able to take a vacation. You want to be able to do things that you need to do, like take care of a sick kid, but you also want the business to be able to flow. So to have that piece, you have to have those procedures in place so that people can just go look up the process when they have a question and reference what they need to do. Because at the end of the day, most people want to do a good job. If you set them up for success, then they will succeed.
Absolutely. And I think the most critical thing there, and I got a good question for you on the back end, is people do want to be set up for success, right? And they also want to have some autonomy. And so as leaders, we are conditioned to saying, this is the way I do it, right? And so there is a level of that then being a part of the process. But the other part of this is, based on the talent that you're hiring and based on their roles, how do they make it their own and have some autonomy to following that playbook, right? So, when you look at teams, right, any professional team dynamic, right, you're always going to lean to what is the strength of that player, right? So if that basketball player is really good with a hook shot, you got to make sure you put them in position that they always are making the hook shot. Never have them doing a layup on their left, because it's ultimately going to fail, right? So that's what that setting them up for success really looks like. You really take advantage of their strength points and align that for where they are on the seat, on the bus, for sure. But let me ask you this, another trick question. Jesse's going to be like, oh my goodness. What process still lives in your head that you have not yet written down?
Ooh, so many of them. So as you know, Taja, we've got our internal app.reveting.com, and it's a CRM marketing automation platform. It's go high level white labeled, but we have an agency version. So each client has their own account. So when I first started Reveting, I started that account with my own company. So I was using my own CRM and marketing automation, and I learned that platform inside and out. I mean, I learned it so well. They invited me to come speak on stage in Dallas about it. I learned that platform, and I resell it. That's, people don't even realize I'm reselling that all the time. I'm an affiliate of High Level because I can speak to it. Because when they came out, it's just, to me, one of the smartest marketing platforms is $97 a month on their entry level one. Whereas like I was using HubSpot, and at the time, if I wanted to just send a email, it was going to cost me $300. I was a small business at the time. So I was super excited by this High Level thing. Needless to say, as the founder, I started growing and building and using this thing. And now I know all the parts of that app up here. I know how to build an automation. I haven't documented how to build an automation. I haven't trained the team on our existing automations. I know how to build a website on there. I haven't documented how to build a website. I haven't put that into I was talking earlier how I need to make larger package prices. We are technically a full service agency. When we learn our client strategy, they come to us to be like, hey, you guys did that video really well. You think you can do X, Y, and Z, blog, newsletter, website. What is it? Ads? What are you working on? So like we can help them. So all of that in that platform, at some point, I'm going to have to start documenting how to do things and how to do it the Reveting way. Because there are certain ways I'm like, we got to build a website like this in here. We shouldn't do it like that. And like, I don't want to have over automation because we want to be authentic and human. So we want to do it like this. So, I want to train them how to do it, but I want to train them how to do it the way I think is right, the way the Reveting way is right. But yeah, that's the stuff I really haven't gotten down, is the technicalities of how to build in our internal system app.reveting.com.
That is a good, and it's good that you're seeing it now and saying this is definitely one of those areas I need to tackle, and it is very nuanced to, I think, Revington, unless you were to white label it to those clients that you are would suggest that, but that you are also affiliating into that platform. It might make sense that they now have this go-to already existing SOP that they now can plug and play with their clients. I digress. I don't want to start up anything here that might cause issues, but that's a good way of looking at it. So it's coming off of your plate. People feel like they can do it without you, without there being any issues moving forward.
Yeah.
So those small steps are critical for you as
Yeah.
you look ahead. Yeah.
Most importantly, like especially with the calendar, you know how we have our booking calendar. Anytime something breaks in there, I either have to hire someone or I have to do it. So just
Yeah.
a good example. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Oh, we are.
No. We have run to our time tonight. Jessie, I am so grateful to have you on Scale Smart Live. I'm encouraged by your growth mindset and where you're wanting to go next. I look forward to having you back on the show to demonstrate against that peace of mind that you're looking for. And I'm grateful to all those that were able to tune in tonight. We will see you in 2 weeks with Elisa Blankenship, who's going to help us with go-to-market strategies, how to make impact and get a return on that investment. So thank you all for joining us tonight for Scale Smart Live.